In this demonstration, we're going to look at creating and configuring a web app. In my Azure portal, I'll select New on my hub menu. What we'll do is we'll just type in WordPress, and we'll select WordPress, and then this will launch up the marketplace. Within the marketplace, what we'll do is we'll select WordPress, and what we'll do is we'll select Create. It'll now ask me to start filling in information. First thing we need to do here is just give this a name, so I'm just going to call this Brian Web App 21. Then what we'll do is, I'm happy with my Azure pass, I need to create a resource group, so I'm just going to call this Brian Web and then RG. And then what we'll do here under database provider, we're going to specify ClearDB. Right, what I need to do now is I need to start configuring anything with a star next to it, because this is mandatory. So we're going to go for our app service plan location. I'm going to select one or create one. I'm actually going to create a new plan. Now what we need to do here is we need to give it a name and we need to give it a location. So I'm just going to call this Brian Web, and then we'll go for SP for service plan. I'm going to store this in West Europe, and I'm happy with the D1 shared pricing tier. So we'll select OK. Then what we'll do is we'll just go for our database, and in the case of our database here, we're going to create a new database. So what we'll do is we'll just enter this in as Brian App DB, and then what we'll do, we're happy with shared database type, we're happy with West Europe, and we're happy with our Mercury pricing tier, and we'll select OK. Then all we need to do is scroll down a bit further, and then all we need to do is we just need to read through the legal terms. And then once we're happy with the legal terms, we'll then purchase our plan. Quickly read through, it's not going to cost me anything, I'm happy with that, so we'll select purchase. In the case of the application insight, I'm not looking at any troubleshooting on this. I'm going to create and delete it fairly quickly. This is purely for demo purposes to create this WordPress site. I will pin it to my dashboard though, and then we'll select create. So as you can see here, it's just going to validate everything. I'm hoping that I get a tick, which I have, and then what we should see here is we should see it starting the deployment. Now this is just going to take a couple of minutes. Once the deployment is complete, what we'll see is we'll go into our web app and we can then start configuring it. So I'll pause the demonstration at this point and return back once the web app is complete. We've returned back now, so as we can see here, Brian Web App 21 is now an app service. If we just scroll this up a little bit, the next thing we need to do here is just configure some settings. So all we're going to do at this point is now set up our WordPress site. But as you can see, it's very similar to a lot of the settings that you get with a lot of these virtual machines, services, applications that we run inside Azure. So lots of things that we can actually customize. However, we'll just go to the URL for our Azure site. That'll just bring us into some initial configuration. So the first thing we need to do here is just set up the WordPress site. I'm just going to go with English United States, so we'll select continue. Next thing it's going to do is just going to ask me to set up some information. So let's just call this Brian website. And then in the case of the username, let's just make that Brian OC 311016. We'll specify a password. I'm just going to make it a weak password, purely because, like I said, I am going to delete this fairly quickly after I've created it. Happy with the fact it's very weak. Microsoft asking me, am I sure I'm happy with this being very weak? I am. So we'll just confirm using this weak password. Now we'll scroll down a bit further. In the case of the email, I'll set up the email account. I'll set my email account. I'm not going to bother turning off or turning on the tick box to discourage search engines from indexing this site, but I will select install my WordPress. As we can see now, it's come back successfully, so WordPress has been installed. So let's just log in. As we can see, I now have my website up and running, and that's the end of this demonstration. Thank you.